Hi guys, I'm an INFJ, which is said to be the world's rarest personality type, and tonight I was just thinking about how, basically my brain is going through this whole overload, like I just don't even know how to handle it, and it got me thinking and wondering how people in previous centuries who are INFJ dealt with this stuff. And I'm not trying to say that we have all these problems and they didn't have their own unique problems. I'm sure there are a lot of things INFJs dealt with in the past that aren't as big of an issue today. But today I'm going to talk about 4 things I came up with that I believe are unique problems INFJs deal with in the 21st century. Alright, excuse me for this, but I'm just going to keep looking down at this little list I made. So the first problem I came up with that I consider a 21st century INFJ problem. If you know anything about INFJs, you know that they really are always searching for meaning and answers. So if you're like me, you may become obsessed with searching for meaning and answers, and this may become an addiction to surfing the web, like around the clock, because I'm just like always trying to figure this stuff out, and I'm always on my computer, and then I'm like, I feel like I'm killing brain cells because I'm always on the computer or always on my iPod or always on something, and just I'm always searching for something because the web is just there with like all these answers, not necessarily correct answers, but there's a lot of stuff you can find on there that provides insights or makes you feel connected to someone or all these different things. And so I think that for this specific reasons, INFJs can struggle with being addicted to surfing the web. I'm not saying that all INFJs have this. I'm just saying that I have found it has been a problem in my life that is unique to the 21st century and that I think has a relationship to my INFJ personality. So number 2, another thing I think can be particularly hard for INFJs in the 21st century is we like to have immediate responses and we like to read body language. And when so much is on the web, we can't do this on the web. We may become worrywarts because we're thinking into anything. This moves into another point I want to make, is that we are intuitive thinkers, and so we're always reading into things. We're not just looking at what we see on the surface. We're always like saying, oh, I think maybe this is happening back there or stuff. And so that can just make the brain like, oh my goodness, there's so much stuff where we don't even have the opportunity to read body language or look for these signs. And so we really are left just trying to read into things and understand them, but not having much explicit content to work with, if that makes sense. Number 3 is kind of going off of this. We read into things, and social media gives us information overload. So this can be very overwhelming. There's just so much content out there, and of course, this isn't like we need to be on the web all the time, but if you are on there a fair amount, if you are on social media websites, there's just information overload. There's stuff, I mean, you scroll through on Facebook, your newsfeed like never ends. There's just information overload, and if you are also someone who is very intuitive and reads into everything and is trying to put things together and read the backstory, that's just that much more stuff going off in your brain. That's that much more firing, and it can be pretty overwhelming. The 4th and last one that I am going to talk about today is that as INFJs, we love authenticity and we crave it. Yet news feeds and all the social media stuff, they are filled with bias and less than authentic images and material. So while we're looking for something authentic, we're really just getting the surface level, and that could just be really hard because we want to really get to know people. And I'm not saying that we don't have that opportunity. I mean, as a human being, you can act to make these things more possible in your life. Like, I love to go on coffee dates with friends on a regular basis, to have actual personal relationships and all of that. But I think just it can be hard when there's all this inauthentic, biased information going around. Like, people look like they have perfect lives, or you only see the person this way, or just all this stuff. And that can be hard for someone who just wants that authenticity so bad to deal with. Okay guys, so these are just 4 examples I came up with off the top of my head, and I'm sure there are plenty more. So you are welcome to comment and tell me what some other problems unique to the 21st century that you deal with are. Especially if you're an INFJ, I'm super interested in knowing that, and also knowing if you relate to any of these. And with that, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you found it interesting or relatable. Bye!